Sister, brother.
Oh my gosh.
Timothy has arrived.
Hey, baby, I got a spot in my staple if
Yeah,
you got some free time.
Ironically enough, yours works perfectly for you, Dave.
Look at all what you could be making, baby.
Jesus Christ.
Is that counterfeit or is that the real deal?
Huh? You decide.
$100 is $100.
That's right. Oh.
Well,
I kind of like that, like, white, creepy ass look.
good thing Mark is the harbinger of death.
Get back in full costume.
Oh, Jesus.
Welcome back to the Five Dirty Bikers podcast.
Presented by Memphis Shades, the clear choice for custom windshields and fairings for your motorcycle. And Wild Ass Seats, stay in the saddle longer and in total comfort no matter your butt or budget.
There's going to be a lot of unveiling tonight, I'm afraid.
I'm waiting to see your unveiling, Miss Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, no, there's just another layer. This is self-care, you know? This is...
Your costume is self-care.
Is that what we call
Yeah, it's
self-care?
Self-Care Monday. This is what all wives do when you guys go. So I have face mask and I have a foot mask on.
I feel like if you put one of those red rubber balls in your mouth, it would bring a whole new meaning to that costume.
No. Got my house robe and glass of wine and a candle.
Boy, I have my house robe too. It's called a kimono.
Yeah, keep that closed. We don't need to open the kimono tonight.
And I also have my glass of wine, bitches.
Oh,
Cheers.
jeez.
Dustin, you should have dyed your beard black. It would be perfect. It would be like the Hulk from the NWO.
Well, we've got the yellow mustache, but yeah, I just went with what I had.
Nice.
Looks good. I like it.
I had options. I had a taco costume upstairs, but you can't really get that with this view. That might be a wear to work costume.
That's that one right there is pretty perfect for what we're doing here.
Did you say a taco option? Is that what I just heard?
Oh yeah,
pink
he said
taco?
taco for sure.
Extra meat,
An extra meat taco.
extra cheese.
Famunda.
I was just going to say
Famunda
that.
cheese.
Hold the lettuce.
Trick or treat, bitches. Welcome to Halloween.
That's
Yeah.
right. It's our ever popular Halloween episode.
Brother.
God damn it!
And
Trick
we're
or
five
treat,
tonight
smell my
for
feet.
jeez. And we're five tonight for Halloween, but we have a trick or treat special because it's not the same five.
No, Mr.
is
Prentice
it?
had a work emergency he had to attend to, but we're five nonetheless because we have a friend and a fellow rider, Mark Moto.Mortician. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How's everybody tonight?
All right, good.
Great.
God damn! Did he put his microphone inside of his mask?
It's coming off here real soon, like right now.
I think it's echoing.
Oh, look
Oh
at
shit!
that.
Put it back on. Put it back on.
Put it back on.
Yeah, he got on like 40 minutes early. He's a little hot.
I
And I
think
don't
that thing
believe
looks
that.
thick.
I don't believe that shit with Prentice about the work meeting.
No, I don't
think
either.
he-
I think he
I
put
think
the
he
nude suit
put-
on and the wife just jumped him,
No, I think he put it on and it split.
or he's out, or he's out
Because
riding.
it was from Temu, and he thought he had a large, and it's really a double extra small.
Yep. And he couldn't smuggle his grapes in that thing.
They would have
Or
shown
maybe-
on screen.
Yeah, exactly.
Or, maybe he changed his mind and he's going to be a princess and show up late.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Since that is
We
his
already
new
have a
nickname.
princess.
Yeah. What do you mean? We don't
Yeah,
need any
we
more
do.
than one princess in here.
And
That's terrifying.
everybody that's not watching the YouTube version, Kimmotto has made a glorious return.
Yeah, if you're not watching the YouTube version, you have missed out.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a glorious return because it's been like 2 or 3 years since we've seen Kimmotto, and it looked like she's had a rough fucking time in those couple of years.
Let's just say rode hard.
Put away what?
Just rode hard. Never
Rode
put
hard.
away.
Rode real hard.
Rawhide.
Something's raw.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
Oh boy.
Oh, good Lord.
Ryan would have fit in right into Deadwood down there where they shot Wild Bill. They had one of the horrors rooms down there.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Me and Swearinger.
I just zoomed my browser in on Kimmotto, and that's horrible, bro. That's not a good look for Kim.
Yes, it is.
What happened to her eyebrows? Did she get ridden so hard her eyebrows went up on her forehead?
Yeah, that's what happens.
Too much
Wow.
Botox.
I don't know if that was Botox or Pentox or something, but
Yeah, they got banged straight up.
yeah,
Yikes.
good Lord.
Well,
Hey,
I'm going to have trouble
ask the
sleeping
question,
tonight.
get the answer.
It doesn't mean the
Yeah.
answer you want, but it's an answer.
She's going to haunt me in my dreams tonight.
Oh, shit. I like zoomed in on Ryan. I can't undo it now. How do
That's
I do
what
that?
I'm telling you, dude. I mean, it's horrible.
I'm afraid to touch anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to know how to zoom
You
in.
shouldn't be.
Just put your fingers on your browser and spread them, Andy.
No scissoring.
Oh, come on.
I just took a picture all expanded on my phone. No, Lord.
Yeah, can't get that out of your head.
Yeah, I bet I need to delete it. It's going to ruin my phone.
Try to go to sleep with that in your brain tonight.
I'll have to show Greg so we have the same nightmare. We can hold each other.
I think you need to get one of those self-care masks from Andy and
Yeah, you
something,
do need some help. Do you want my regimen? I can get it to you.
I don't know.
you're just missing the bright red lipstick.
What is that? Is that a
What
waxing
is it?
kit?
What do you got,
She
Andy?
just opened up the waxing kit.
No.
What is that?
It's my hand mask.
You've got a hand mask?
Yes.
You gonna
Hey,
go
if I'm
baking
gonna
after
spend
this?
the fucking night with you guys, I'm gonna make myself look better.
You're going to cover yourself
God's-
with tinfoil?
That's right.
If you
Fucking
stick your
crazy
thumb in
ass
your ass and then
Martians.
hold that one in the air, you might pick up alien signals.
She just turned into an antenna.
Oh, my God.
Look,
I have to
Look.
tongue it.
look, Andy's getting us free porn.
I'm tying myself up.
All right, that we're going to monetize the YouTube channel for fans only. That's for only
Oh
fans.
shoot! I forgot to take off my watch. That's all right. All right, here we go. Sorry about for all the crinkling in the background. This is what it takes to look good.
Jesus Christ.
You guys know how to tie a cherry stem with your tongue?
Yes,
We
No,
should have a contest.
that's
I
been a
don't
while,
know
but I've done it.
Your wives
I feel like
will love you more if you can.
I can say the alphabet, if that counts.
With his asshole.
I got that.
All right. While Andy's
I'm ready.
getting ready to put herself in the oven, we got our friend Mark. Mark's been a friend of the show for a while now. How many years have we known you, Mark? 5?
4 or 5.
You've been to some FDBMs
Yeah, this
and then
this,
some
year's-
other events too.
this year was the first one I've missed in a while.
Yeah, we did miss you, man. It was a good time.
I didn't know you were gone. I had no idea you weren't there.
Wow, that hurt. That cuts deep, Mark.
I'm joking. I think I messaged you while you weren't there.
I don't remember.
Mark is notorious for the guy that wins shit.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute, though, hadn't it, Mark? I mean, you had a run for like a year where I think you were nailing
So
everything
let's
you entered.
go over this list. List everything you've won in the last 5 years because it's pretty impressive.
A Hummer?
From who?
Well, let's correct that. Yeah,
Yeah, tell me more.
A former military Humvee vehicle. That autism raffle that the podcast did, so that had the Memphis Shades, Custom Dynamics, and SNS that was in that.
Yeah.
I just last week at a Ducks Unlimited banquet brought home a new firecracker that is made by the company my daughter was named after, Kimber.
Oh.
Ooh, nice.
A very, very nice firecracker. I don't know. A few other things.
You've won. I think you've won three drawings with us. Between you and Matt, there was a period of time that both of you had won everything for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you won a couple of our drawings. I know for sure. Besides the autism one, there was another one that you won, because didn't you get a
quarterly drawings?
Didn't you get like a little gift basket from Lowbrow Customs one time? I think.
I don't remember that. I know I got a phone mount.
Oh yeah. Okay.
From something.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you win a bike from somebody?
No, not yet.
Not
Well,
yet.
you tried to win a bike.
Yeah.
Lotto tickets.
No lotto.
No lotto.
Yeah, no. Just to say again, because you really went all in on the autism bike raffle, and
Yeah.
we in the Autism Society greatly appreciated that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're I think it was when Dave and I were in South Dakota, your outbidding of Greg and Andy, that turned into a situation,
Yeah.
because
Well, then, yeah, and then Frank. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
Frank was not going to be outdone.
so you kept buying tickets, and then Greg and Andy bought tickets, and then Frank was like, this can't continue to go on, so then he bought tickets, and Mark was like, shit, I'm out.
I'm
So
a
that
sucker
was-
for a good cause.
That was a lot of fun.
But then when we were at the La Quinta, Mark, were you part of that group that was like, okay, it goes until midnight, so we were sitting in the lobby and buying tickets late at night? Were you part of that group?
I plead the fifth.
Oh,
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you're the reason why my husband bought more tickets.
Yeah. I remember. Yep,
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
There might have been some liquid decision-making assistance.
Courage, liquid courage.
Yep, I remember that, because I am almost positive that was the night I didn't go to bed until 4.
That was.
Yeah, that
Yep.
was. I do. I remember most of that.
You looked almost as good the next morning as you do right now.
I know. I fully agree with you on that one.
Yeah, that was a nice hotel. It's too bad we can't go back there anymore.
It is too bad we can't go back there. Yeah, I mean, I know I can't show my face there anymore, but
Show up
yeah.
as Kim.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe they'll let me in.
I can't.
Yeah. No shit.
Nope, this is my little John cup. Yeah. Okay.
And Mark, let everybody know what you're riding these days.
Currently riding a 23 Road Glide. Picked it up back in January. So got rid of my 20 Street Glide. I'm part of the, Street Glide, Road Glide debate. Both are great bikes, but I definitely am glad that I made the switch to the Road Glide. Very disappointed. I was supposed to be leaving tomorrow on about a 2,200 mile trip on the bike, but Hurricane Milton put the kibosh on riding, so driving to Florida now.
Mark,
Did
let
you
me
buy?
ask
Did
you,
you
what
buy
do you-
just before the body style change?
It is the new body style. So it was a 23 and a half.
Oh, okay.
A CVO?
22.5. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's
So-
why. Yeah, because the CVO's got the change before the.
They
yeah,
did.
just
Yep,
regular
that's
So
how
let me
glide.
ask you, you just made the conversion from a street glide to a road glide. What's your take on the style of fairing?
I really like the Road Glide fairing, the Rushmore style, and then I don't even know Dustin, what are they calling this new one? Do they even have a name for it?
Ugly ass, but that's
Yeah.
beside the point.
Yeah.
I do like the new style fairing.
What about the mounting, though? I mean, going from the fork mounted to the frame mounted fairing.
Unbelievably different. It is so much more nimble at slower speed maneuverability, especially since you don't have that weight on the bars. I never rode the previous version of the road glides, and those that I know that have ridden both the noob style and the previous generation have said that with the lighter weight of the 23.5 24s, that is even more nimble and feels even more maneuverable, especially at slower speeds.
Yeah, I've test ridden one of the 24s, and it's a hugely noticeable difference in weight on the road glide.
Yeah, big time. What are they, like 838? I think all weighted down, curb ready.
Wow,
Street glide's 818. So yeah, they both shed 20, I don't know, 16 to 20 pounds a piece.
And that new fairing styling is kind of growing on me.
I like the factory light that's in it. Although you look at some of these companies out there that are doing this stuff with the off-road lights. I know there's a couple companies that are doing those Baja Design light setups, and those look really good, but those are also
very
pricey.
expensive.
Well, I think it's unfortunate. The photo that leaked out before that new style was released was a horrible photo. Right, it was taken from a horrible angle, and I think that just kind of, I know it affected how I perceive the new styling change. I think it did a lot of people. Who knows if that hadn't come out.
I think it was super different seeing the various photos, even the professional photos that Harley did of those two bikes versus seeing them in person. When I saw them in person, I had a whole different impression of both of the new designed motorcycles. And I wasn't super impressed with them until I saw them in person. And then it really changed my thought process on what they look like.
Well, the color makes a big difference too. What color did you get, Mark? I forgot.
It's the dark platinum.
Yeah.
No.
See, it looks better with the darker colors, I think.
Yeah. As Ryan, I think you said, I got it just before the release, the actual 24s. And I had a couple people like, well, don't you wish you had waited for, the ST version? And the ST is a nice bike as well.
Yeah.
But what I would have had to do to set it up the way I ride and the way I want versus what the regular CVO came with. And then plus I like that color better than what they released in the 24s on the standard CVOs. That white ST is
that's something.
Both the white and the black ST are just incredible.
Yeah, the black one's always the one that caught my attention. They're both nice, and especially that white, when the sun hits it right, it's almost like a greenish shine on it. It's weird. But,
I like that.
Both are beautiful.
Yeah, I like that what they did with that crushed carbon fiber, because every bike looks a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I thought was a really cool, kind of addition that they did to those bikes. But Harley listened, right? I mean, they listened and they put out a bike that everybody had been spending all their time building. So it was impressive.
I was very fond of the burst blue. If I ever upgraded, definitely something that color if I went to full touring. But that Whiskey Fire is nice too.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, at the dealership, white was the best seller for the Road Glide, especially. A lot of people love that white Onyx Pearl.
Well, look at our friends that bought bikes at FDBM this year.
exactly.
They both bought that white.
Yep.
And they're both beautiful bikes.
One apiece. Yep.
Yeah.
Good contrast with the black finish. Just pretty. Both bikes really nice.
Have you seen Devin since FDBM? You guys gotten together? You guys live close to each other?
They're just a couple hours north of me. I have not seen them since FDBM. My summer was kind of crazy. I didn't get out as much with some family health issues. So I think the last time I saw them was back in the spring when there was a poker run up in eastern Ohio.
Well, she's apparently enjoying the hell out of that new bike.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. I heard she was putting a lot of miles on it last time I talked to them. Okay. So, Halloween's coming up here real fast. And the reason we brought Mark on is mainly because of his profession. As you can see from his name, if you're watching YouTube, Mark is indeed a mortician.
Oh, not a magician. This whole
No.
time I thought he was a magician.
No, I think that shit's pulling
I'm
your eyes
just
apart too
joking.
much.
You thought it was MotoMortician?
Yeah, he makes shit disappear for sure.
Yeah, that's
For
sure.
good.
In a box.
Yeah.
He makes all the giveaways disappear.
Put it in a box.
Close the
Never be
lid.
seen again.
It ain't coming out.
Oh, shoot.
Andy, are your hands well done yet?
Well, is it crinkling a lot?
No.
No,
be-
not now.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't think this through all the way.
My face
I'm
is
gonna
getting
feel-
really tight.
I'm going to feel real good afterwards. I'm going to look real good afterwards. But in the meantime, I'm just going to sit here like this.
If you turn
mean-
the lights on low, you could be your own horror movie.
Let's do it.
Again, go to YouTube, everybody. Oh man, this is gonna be nasty.
Oh, wait, hold on. That's too. Oh, my ring
That's the
light.
other
'Cause I'm
light,
fancy.
yeah.
I brought a ring light.
She can't work the button with that shit on her hands.
It's gonna look like Pazuzu from the fucking
Oh,
Amityville
God.
movies.
Jesus.
Oh God,
Good Lord.
You'll never see me coming.
you need. Oh, that's what she said. Bravo.
She looks.
This is
She looks.
Dynamite.
She looks a little bit like Leatherface right now.
Or Lecter.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, the candle helps. I'll move it
There you-
closer.
oh my God, that's even worse.
Jesus.
Put it down, please.
You guys are lucky I'm not, like, sensitive.
Sensitive? You
Yeah.
have
If you were, this
you
would
have
be the wrong
feelings?
podcast.
Thank God I don't. Thank God I'm a cold-hearted bitch.
Brother.
For God's sake.
All
Okay,
right.
so he's not... So what you're saying is he's not a magician. He's a mortician.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I
Mortician.
misunderstood.
I was actually thinking about this morning, Mark, because I actually have some legit questions. So
Of course you...
I do.
Do it in your Kim voice, though.
This is. Hey, baby.
God.
The Kim voice is just lower.
I think you forgot your estrogen this morning.
Or yeah, too much.
So, was this a family business for you guys?
It is a family business, yes.
Well, it is now, but I mean, was it prior? Like, or did you like when you graduated from high school? You were like, I think a mortician's what I want to do with my life.
No, okay. So the disclosure for anyone out there who has experienced a death or is currently dealing with a family member that's ill, I do take what I do very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a lot of respect for my colleagues in this industry, but as with every profession, you have to laugh a little bit and have a little bit of fun. Again, I myself just experienced the death of a family member. You know, when you're dealing with people who are sad and going through difficult times, you have to use a little bit of humor now and then. So,
Sure.
again, I take what I do very seriously. But so the background, my father was in the business.
Okay.
It was a second or third career for him.
Okay.
And so I basically grew up in the industry. I can remember being probably 4 or 5 years old and sitting in the front seat of the hearse between my dad and one of his coworkers and going out to hospitals and nursing homes because he didn't have a babysitter and he had to go somewhere. So I went with him, and it was stay in the car and we'll be right back. So I'm second generation of funeral director in my family.
Okay.
So I'm surprised. Like if I didn't know what you did, I would never guess. It'd probably be the furthest thing from my mind and guessing what your profession was, because I grew up knowing a kid who graduated with my brother. His dad owns a funeral home here in town, and he was the quietest kid you'll ever meet. And I'm kind of just trying to put two and two together. Why growing up, and I figured out what his dad did. I'm like, I would probably be a little reserved. You know, if my parents did that very thing of the things that I could have seen, but knowing you know, for all these years, you would still never know unless you told somebody.
You'd think I was a magician.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
My dinner table conversations growing up were definitely a different experience than most families, I would imagine. Same with my children who've have no intention of going into the business, but they've grown up in it, and they have had an understanding of what I did from a very young age.
Yeah.
I'm here to tell you, Mark, your dinner conversations are no different than conversations Andy and I have probably had at our dinner tables being in healthcare. So I think there's a direct correlation between that, because you see some shit that you can't unsee, right? And so you have to. I think to process it, you end up talking about it, right? To some extent. I mean, without breaking confidentiality and all the HIPAA regulations and things that go along with that. And for you, not breaking family confidences or being disrespectful to families. At the end of the day, you see some shit that you can't unsee, and there has to be a way to process that internally, for sure.
Yeah. And my family and my humor are definitely the things that assist with that.
It's got to be tough. I mean, because what you deal with on a daily basis, you always have to be the strong one, right? I mean,
Yep, and that is when just 5 or so weeks ago, when I was handling the funeral service for my own mother, I kept it together until I was doing the dismissal of the service at the cemetery, and I lost it.
I was going to ask if you performed the services for your loved one you talked about earlier.
Yep, I was a part of everything, including taking care of and doing all of the necessary preparations.
Wow.
well,
That had to be hard.
couldn't imagine.
Of the family members I've taken care of, it was one of the easier ones. This is my daughter's cat, Poppy, that has decided she wants to.
What up, Poppy?
I actually
Hang
thought
out.
you were going to say this is my daughter. And I was like, okay, this is really fucking getting creepy.
Technically, that's my granddaughter.
Your grandkitten.
There you
Yeah,
go. There you
kitten.
go.
Yeah.
So, you guys, I have to go get cut out of these. I feel like I'm in bondage right now, and I can't do it myself.
What did
So-
did you tie square knots with your teeth?
Well, they're sticky, and I wrapped it up real tight, thinking I'd be able to get it off, and I can't. So I'll
Did
be
not
back.
think that one through.
I'm gonna have Greg untie me real quick.
It's a good thing he's home.
Turn the light on so you don't trip.
She's not coming back.
Yeah, she's not coming back. She's tied
This
up.
went a whole different direction.
I've seen too many horror movies.
Greg, can you untie my fucking hands,
Yeah.
please?
Yeah, nope.
Stay right where you're at.
So, Mark, now let's add a little humorous twist to this. Do you take on students or people that want to learn? Do you have like, I don't know what you call them, like not an understudy, but like a
Apprentice?
Yeah, like an
Yeah.
apprentice. So you take on apprentice.
We have
Yes.
we have apprentice, but he's not here today.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have apprentice too. Yeah. So when you do that, do you ever do you ever play tricks on them?
Usually not too severely. Again, you're trying to get people into the industry, and it is one that does tend to have a high turnover rate in the last 5-10 years. I've had 3 people in the last 6 years that were in the business less than 5 years and got out. Again, part of it is the stresses of the business and the fact that the reality is no one ever wants to come see me.
Right.
If you're coming to see me or you're calling me, it's not for a good reason.
Right.
It's not getting to go see your buddy who's working at the Harley dealer, or travel and visit with your friends that have the hotel and restaurant. It's never a good day when anyone's calling. So, but we don't really mess with the new ones too bad. There are lots of stories, and of course, in today's climate, you have to be a little more ginger with some people.
Come on, I'd lay somebody down on a sheet and just like go in and make them sit up. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah, Ryan would sit in the body bag at
Oh, for sure.
the table and sit up and say, "Hey, everybody,
Fucking
it's
unzip that
Mr.
thing and
Hager."
be like, blah! I mean, it's just the reason why is I've been involved in situations where I've had to go like into a morgue and that kind of stuff to do imaging, and that's like for autopsies. And while no one ever played any pranks on anybody, it was definitely the mood was definitely lighter in there than other places, because you kind of everybody understands the seriousness and the gravity of the situation of why you're there. And so, you know what I mean? It was never too it was never like super serious with the conversations and the staff and that kind of stuff. Obviously you have to maintain a certain integrity, but I always found it to be not an intimidating environment, if that makes sense, because sometimes you can go into surgery with a surgeon and they're incredibly intimidating and they're trying to be assholes to make people feel uncomfortable, right? But I never got that impression in the morgue, because that doctor knew, you know, the situation. You know, you freak out too many people, and like you said, they're just not going to come back.
And in an exam room where there is a post-mortem happening versus a surgical room where a life is potentially being saved, or if that doctor makes a mistake. Jokingly, I've always said there's nothing that I can do to hurt someone once they're in my care.
Right.
Right. Not the damage has been done, but there's nothing I can do to hurt them.
Right.
Yeah. So, question.
Yes.
I'm sure preparations for your mother were hard, but was there another case that was just difficult to get through that was on any sort of level as that?
As a parent, anytime there is someone younger than myself, I started working full time at the funeral home when I was 20. And from that point, even to now being in my mid 40s, anytime the family member's loved one is younger than me, it's not supposed to be that way.
Sure.
But when it is a child or a young adult, those tend to be the difficult ones. You're supposed to live to be 80, 90, 100 years old. But sometimes life's not fair, whether that be from an accident, intentional, medical. There's definitely, those are the hard days. Before my wife worked at the funeral home with me, she could always tell when I had a difficult, when I say difficult family, not that the family was difficult, but a tough scenario. And it always seems that those can be very relatable to something that was going on in my life at the time. You feel for those really who lose a child.
Yeah, that's like my worst fear.
I think that's every parent's fear.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's why there's so many people that are so careful with their kids, especially these days. With the way the internet is now, you can find out anything. It just terrifies the parents even more, and they just want to helicopter their kids all the time. We pay close attention just because of what our kids are going through. Piece. I mean, because they're both not, I wouldn't say like normal children, but they both have their challenges that they got to deal with daily. So that's kind of the reason why we're maybe a little more protective than most, but we still let them off the leash a little bit. But no, I can definitely see why it's a crazy world.
Yeah. Well, okay. I don't want to. This is not a depressing podcast. The Five Dirty Bikers is a fun podcast. So why don't we shift gears just a little bit?
I like what you did there.
One down, the rest up. There aren't a whole lot of spooky things that I can give examples of and talk about in my profession. I mean, I have slept in the funeral home on more than one occasion.
Why? What would be a reason you would do that?
Well, again, back to when my family first came to town. There used to be an apartment in the back of the building.
Oh,
and so
okay.
While we were in the process of moving from town A to town B, Dad was living in the apartment, and we'd load up the family truckster, and we'd come into town on the weekends, and that apartment was tiny little bedroom and a little living space. So there was a couch out in the lounge, and my sister and I would flip a coin. And one night she got the couch, and I slept on the floor, and then it was reversed the next night.
God damn.
As an adult, there have been some circumstances that have led me to needing to be there for the entire night, whether it be our phone system going down or the power being out in the building, or just something that was happening. So, I've been there at all hours of the day, all hours of the night. I'm also, it takes a lot to spook and to scare me. So there are a number of things that I experience on a daily basis that would probably scare the bejesus out of anybody else. But no, I've never had a body sit up. I've never had anything happen that wasn't a result of gravity. Or
you ever had one of those where they didn't turn the pacemaker off?
Oh yeah, I have a big battery for that.
Nice. So they're getting shocked still when they come to you?
Usually they're not getting the shock, but it's beeping because it's not working properly. It's kind of like the alarm on the Timex that someone forgot to turn off. It just keeps beeping in the background.
Geez. Never even thought about that.
Now, without knowing that, it's like right out of Saw.
Yeah. Yeah,
Man.
I knew that just because it's, that's a healthcare thing, but you got to shut that shit off.
Yes. More of my stories are probably funny things that have happened. And I guess when talking about scary and spooky, probably one of the worst things that I can remember, not everyone dies Monday through Friday between the office hours of 8 and 5.
8 to 5.
What?
If I could figure out how to make that happen, that's the day I retire. But so, we get calls to respond to people's residences at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and a little area just outside of town that is very country. Get called out to the house one night. Most of the time when you're showing up at a house on a street in the middle of the night, you can tell which house you're going to, because it's the one with all the lights on. There's a whole bunch of cars in front of the house and in the driveway. Well, we are at this dead end country road. Pull in, find the house number, which you can barely see because there are not street lights on this street. There's one little dim light on the porch of the house. There's no cars in the driveway. I look at the guy that's with me. He looks at me like, I think this is right. I go up to the front door, and there's a little sign, use side door. So walk around the side of the house. Again, very dark. I mean, like an intentionally dim bulb above the door. It was like a horror film. I mean, it's exactly what you would think, someone's going to come jumping out from around the corner. And so here I am out in the country where most people have those things that, go boom, and don't like getting their door knocked on in the middle of the night for no reason. So I very timidly am knocking on the door. And finally, someone opens it up, and I can tell at this point now I'm in the right spot. And I look at them and I go, where's everybody's cars? Well, family members lived next door. The hospice nurse was parked in the driveway next door. It was like, it freaked us out because I was probably concerned that I was going to get greeted with a double barrel.
No, 12 gauge.
And it wasn't going to be a double barrel bourbon.
So one of the things that being a nurse for almost 20 years, I have obviously not necessarily been a part of the planning of patients that I've lost, but I've often, received, thank you cards or some form of communication after the passing of a family member, if I've taken care of them in some form or fashion. And I've always enjoyed how funeral homes in particular have the ability to really personalize the ceremony, the situation, the end of life celebration for that particular person and or the family. So they have the ability to kind of begin that grieving process appropriately, or, you know, in a way that suits them or fits them. And the story that I have with that is my grandmother passed away some years ago, and we have a fairly decent sized family, and my family is really bad at communication. So they did not tell the funeral home director that they were going to be doing certain things, not because they were trying um, to hide it from them, but mostly because they just felt like we just didn't want. My mom's exact words were, we didn't want to, he has so much going on, we don't want to burden him with this small minute thing, right? Well, my grandmother was an alcoholic, to be completely frank, and her favorite drink was vodka orange juice. And so my mother and her sisters mixed up gallons of vodka orange juice, and at the burial handed out shot glasses, and did not tell the funeral director that we were doing this. So as we're trying to like wrap things up, this is what my family is doing. And I'm just thinking to myself, what the fuck must all these people think about us? Like this, like, you know, here we are, you know, the pastor's there, you know, we're trying to do all of this. Like, they're trying to be very delicate about the situation and say wonderful things about my grandmother. And we're running around with gallon jugs of OJ and vodka doing shots, you know, and I'm just like, so those are always kind of the stories that I'm always fascinated with, because it really is important for the family to be able to have that experience so they can move on, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So they can have the experience that they need to begin that grieving process. And so I'm often curious, like, what is a great story that you were just like, they did such an amazing job of personalizing it, whether it be for that person? Because I think that's kind of how this whole thing came, is we talked about superstitions not very long ago, and it was I think I had mentioned something about around here we have one funeral home who has a specific contraption made that can be pulled behind a motorcycle and different things like that. But that's always kind of what I'm curious about. Like, what are some crazy things that have been requested of you to do, and where families have just been like, this is what we have to do in order to make sure that, you know, we put them to rest.
And if there is anything that you've had to turn down, like saying we don't offer that service.
Yeah, no kidding. That one might be better.
And you know, so many of those things are many a times kind of put back in the family's lap, and we can help facilitate. You know, much like I would not have gone to the store and provided the materials to pay tribute to your grandmother.
What?
But
no, I'm just joking.
You got to buy your own booze. And I was involved with a service a number of years ago, and we did a blue moon toast at the cemetery. Probably the only time in my recollection that I drank on the job, because I did celebrate with the family and had a little bit of blue moon with them at the cemetery. You know, we've had families that have had their vehicles be a part of the service. One gentleman a number of years ago had this beautiful 57 Chevrolet. And so the side driveway, the portico area of the funeral home is lit up really bright at night. And we parked it there underneath that. And just with the color of his car, I mean, there were probably people driving by going, man, that just looks cool. It was presented very well. I've had families pass out cigars and, you know, do a number of different things like that. A funny story, we were not a part of this service. There's a gentleman that owned a restaurant in the area, well known for their ribs. He was a big fan of cigars. And so at his passing, at the graveside, after everyone had left, his attorney passed out some cigars to some key family members. You know, this guy wanted, I think it was a son, some son-in-laws, those gentlemen to, stand at the grave and have one last cigar with Dad. Well, everyone got about 4 puffs in, and they all started exploding. He had
That's awesome.
left the request for exploding cigars to be done. So the attorney was the only one that knew that they were gag cigars.
Oh, how
That's
can you hold a
awesome.
straight face handing those fuckers out? Just be
I'm,
like,
I'm
"Oh."
sure he did.
Oh,
Listen,
man.
I want to be cremated, but if my family insists on putting me in a box, they better put me face down so everybody can kiss my ass.
Or they have a place to park their bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's go around the horn. I mean, does everybody have a plan or a preference on how you are processed or the services are completed for you?
I definitely I'm not interested in anything somber. I mean, I think Andy said the word celebration of life. I definitely want something like that. I would rather it be, people toasting and talking about fun times and good times and things like that. I don't want a public showing or anything like that. I want to be cremated. And my preference actually, and I've actually talked to my daughters a little bit about this, and I'll talk to them again when they get older, is that I don't want to columbarium or anything like that, just because after one generation, no one ever goes to a gravesite ever again. And so I'd rather my ashes be spread. And I know in a lot of places it's illegal. And my youngest daughter's like, I'll break the law for you, Daddy. And I'm like, I know you will. So
Questionable.
yeah. I don't know anybody that's ever gotten in trouble for it. But I mean, truly, if somebody would just strap the urn on the sissy bar of their bike and friggin' open the lid and drive down the interstate, I'm good, I don't give a shit. I just don't want there to be a marked gravesite or anything like that, because I just don't find it to be necessary for me. I don't necessarily want any of that. So
Part of my father-in-law supposedly went off the back of his bike going up the country road. I wasn't there. I don't know, but that's what was supposed to happen.
Andy?
Oh, you guys know what? I'm ashamed to say this, because being in the profession that I was in for so long, and then on top of that, very much being involved in the planning of most of my grandparents' funerals, as well as other family members, and my husband being a trust attorney who's been very involved in writing wills and planning, we have zero plans. Because we are the exact example of, if you do it for a living, we don't talk about it. We don't do any of that stuff at home. It's very shameful. But I would tell you that I probably would want my experience to be very private. However, if that would be what I would want. But I also recognize that I'm the one that's dead and gone. And at that point, it's really not about me anymore. And I would really prefer that my loved ones do whatever is going to help them in that process. If they're I would maybe say, help them along, maybe this verse here, this, because those things are really hard to think of. You've just lost a loved one, and then you're handed this book, and it's okay, so what verse do you want? How do you want all of this to be planned out, the sermon or whatever? And it's kind of, you're doing your best, but you're also still very emotional. So I think I could maybe help with that. But as far as, do you want to bury me? Bury me. I don't care. Do you want to cremate me? Cremate me. Do you want to, dig a hole in the woods and pretend I'm not there? I'm fine with that too. I just don't think at that point it's about me any longer. It's about the people who I've left behind, I guess.
they better play Hell's Bells by AC/DC for me.
Or I've got big balls.
Oh my gosh, that's Greg's dad's favorite song. Oh,
Just
shoot.
balls everywhere.
Do you have plans, Dustin?
No, we haven't made those plans, and it's weird saying that too, because when you look at it, I'm over halfway. When you really look at it, what's the average guy live? 76,
74.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm over halfway. I'm middle aged, if you will.
Right.
But I mean, I've talked. Me and Jackie just once in a while we talk about it, but we don't like to, just because of the subject matter, and
Sure.
we're around the kids so much, so we usually don't bring it up. But I've told her, in the past. Now, this is before, because I want to be cremated. I don't want to be shown, especially if I'm 85 years old. I'd rather be remembered for what I look like, now, or in my 20s or in my 30s, whatever. Put a big picture of me next to the urn or whatever. Have people come say bye.
Just lighten up the water bong. That's a good picture for Dustin.
Yeah, make it rain. But I told Jackie at a point where it wasn't like cremation wasn't the choice. I wanted to be buried wearing one of my Penguins hockey jerseys. But maybe if it's possible, get cremated wearing it.
Oh yeah.
So it's it becomes a part of me after, because I'm such a big hockey fan for the Penguins. We've gone to games out in Pittsburgh several times. When they come to town in St. Louis, we go, and it's just a big part of my life. It's something that me and her share, because before she met me, she wasn't a hockey fan. But I think that would probably be the only weird request. I'm never have been the type of person that wanted a bunch of attention. So yeah, I'd keep it simple.
And that's not a weird request.
I'm sure there's been some zingers.
I mean, it's very common. Even so many times, someone may have a professional-looking top or jacket or button-up shirt, but there's the Harley shirt underneath, or the John Deere shirt hiding underneath.
Yeah, put my riding boots on, my Penguins jersey. I'm good.
Grandpa sweatpants
Or the Crocs on the feet.
No, but I know there was this might be a little more on the morbid side, but when I was younger, I've always been an artist since I was little. And when I was in high school, I was almost dead set on being cremated, because I went back and forth. But at the time, I was like, I want to be cremated, and I want somebody to paint a portrait of me and put some of the ashes in the paint. That's a little more on the weird side, I know. But I've never had my portrait drawn, so I'll accept this one of these goofy-ass cartoons that we had done at Six Flags like 20 years ago. But that was something weird that I was like, maybe I shouldn't do that. That's a little too creepy. My kids wouldn't want to keep... My kids would keep that up for one day and then take it down and put it in the attic or something.
Well, we had one parent, and I won't name any parents in case they ever listen to this, but they'll know who they are. That one parent said that they would like to be cremated, and then for each child to take custody of the remains for 6 months at a time and continually rotate. And the answer was no. We will not do that.
It's like that Simpsons episode where they had Radioactive Man #1.
Yeah, like no, that's not going to happen. You just we'll put you in a box in a hole in a wall somewhere, and you're going to be fine. Like, we're not going to rotate you. Sorry, that's not for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of interesting.
So here, I want to show you guys this before we move on. So me and Jackie had this done like the year we met. Look at Big Jagger here. We were at Six Flags over the weekend, and we thought about getting another one done, but the line was so long to get them done. It's like we can get one done 20 years later, then 20 years after that, we'll get another one done.
Nice. What about you, Dave? What are your...
we haven't really made any plans. I mean, I think we both know what we don't want. I mean, I've told Pat, I'd suggest, I don't really care. Just get my flag. Get my flag. Mm-hmm. That goes down to the family. And I don't know. I mean, I've attended many different types of services: buried, cremated, Christian, Muslim, all kinds of different services. And I think, for me, I think what Andy was saying. I mean, I just want people to get together and share memories, and that's it. Put me in an urn or whatever if you want. I like the idea. I hadn't even thought about the idea of having ashes spread off a motorcycle. I think that would be cool. Or maybe someone rappelling out of the helicopter or something might be a cool idea. I don't know.
Well, this is something we can go around the table with. We'll have Mark start since he's the guest. So I'm not sure which way your plans are for yourself, Mark, but like say you were cremated, where would you want your ashes to go?
If I were cremated and they were being to be spread somewhere, I really don't know. Again, if I'm still riding at the time I go, and I hope I am, something involving a bike would be appropriate, I think. I have a family plot at the cemetery with my parents and my sister. The joke there is that it's on the main drive of the cemetery, and you almost go past it every time you pull into that cemetery with a funeral service. And I say Dad picked it because he knew that's the only way I would visit his grave. Just driving by and waving. So,
Mark, how big of a town do you live in?
About 50,000
so it's
in our
pretty
main town,
decent
but then
Okay.
We've got we serve regularly probably about 6 surrounding communities.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
Crazy.
is it like every day, or do you get like a day off from? I'm not sure how it works. I'm just curious.
And that is the thing about our business, is you never know.
Right, you never know when you're going to get the phone call. Like you said, there's no schedule when somebody's going to go. But I figured in a town of 50,000 and up, it'd probably be way more common than a town of 3,200.
Yeah, and there are weeks where we have at least a service every day, and then there are weeks where we don't do anything. And then it's the next week you've got a day where there are 3 services in one day and 2 services the next day.
Wow.
I think 6 or 7 in one day is the most services that we have been a part of.
My, how do you keep it all organized? That's rough.
Logistics. I will say that that's one of the things that I have done pretty well with over the years, of once, laying down, this person needs to be here with this vehicle, this person needs to be here with this vehicle and this other staff member to coordinate that aspect of things.
I will say being on that side of it, that's one thing that I do appreciate about the people in your profession, is I found that to be fairly true, because it seems like the day of the funeral, even if you've gone in and you're the family and whatever, you none of that stuff, you don't hear any of it. None of it sinks in, and you get to the day of the funeral and you're like, where was I supposed to stand? Am I carrying the casket? You know what I mean? Like, it was, I remember when my dad passed about 4 years ago, my family had told me like 5 times, they were like, you need to carry Dad's ashes up to the front because none of us can do it. Like, they were just, they were afraid they would drop it, and they were, very emotional and all that kind of stuff. And so the day of, I'm like, who's carrying Dad to the front? And they're all looking at me like I was a moron. And even though I know that I had been told, probably 10 times that I was the one doing it, it was completely off my radar when it came time to do it. But yeah, I would say that to answer your question for me, Dustin, I've actually thought about this. And there's 2 things. Obviously, I would want something to be done involving a motorcycle with my ashes. Somebody popping the top, going down the highway or something like that. The only other thing is I've always been partial to the ocean. And there's this very specific place. If you go anywhere that has like decent surf, so like Southern California, Hawaii, whatever. And there's a place where you can stand on the beach where the water breaks. And if the surf is high enough, or the waves come in hard enough, you can actually feel the sea spray on your face before the water hits your feet. And I think that's exactly where I would want somebody to put my ashes, because then the surf comes in and it would take it out. It would take it away. It would only be there for a brief moment, and then the surf comes in and goes away. But there's this very specific spot. And I remember when my wife and I went to Hawaii the first time, and we went down this canyon, hiked down to this black sand beach. And I remember walking out there and taking my shoes and socks off and walking to that very edge point, and just standing there, and I closed my eyes and I waited till the sea salt hit my face, that sea spray hit my face, and I knew I was in the right place. But probably the most spiritual places that I've ever experienced seem to be right there.
There's so many jokes I can go with that, but I respect you too much.
I know. I was going to say something when that shit was hitting his face, but I'll let it go.
I mean, hey,
It's the salty stuff was hitting his face.
hitting his face, just like splashing against my face.
Yeah. He's spreading the shit out and the water just.
Yeah, just hitting my face. Yeah, but that would be that'd be it for me, I think.
The ocean.
Yeah, the ocean and then something with a bike, would be it for me.
Yeah. It's funny, I can't even answer my own question on this. Like I said, it's something I haven't thought about, really. And I probably should.
And that's food for thought. And that's, so many times I sit down with families that, again, I look at and at this group of us here, we are that next generation. And it is our parents and or our grandparents whose services that we may be a part of. And it's usually that is the trigger that goes, maybe I should start to put some things in place. Maybe I should call someone like Greg and get my estate plan laid out. At least, some of that stuff. And, for those of us who are parents, what's going to happen with your children, your minor children. When our daughter turned 18, that completely changed the scope of what our plans were legally. She gets her sister if we kick the bucket, and that will be torture.
I think I forgot where I was going, but I think it had something to do with I've got a grandmother that's still alive. She's like 90 something, so I'm just thinking I'm gonna live that long. I got time, but I think it's kind of you got to mix in the fact that we all ride bikes.
Yeah.
So our probability of not being here is a little higher than, everybody else that doesn't. I mean, I made the prep when I started riding by life insurance per request of the wife. And I was like, no problem.
Right.
If something does happen to me, I want to make sure that you guys are taken care of. But, goddamn, this is putting another one of those in my brain, Mark. Thank you.
Well, I mean, there's you have to plan for a lot, not just what we're talking about here, right?
Right.
But like Mark was saying, I mean, we set up a trust quite a while ago, right? So all of our assets are, everybody knows how it's going to be managed and all of that, just so that the family, our kids don't have to worry about that. We just haven't got to the point of figuring out what we're going to do with ourselves.
And even just that is more than most people do and plan for. Because really, when a death occurs, it's hard to say that the funeral is really the easy part. Because, there are certain things that are going to happen, and that's a given. It's all the stuff afterwards that can take years if someone hasn't put some of the right things in place.
I mean, I went through that with my mom when she passed,
Family fight over shit, which is unbelievable.
Yeah. I was fortunate because
got some stories there.
I don't know if this is common still today or not, Mark, but when my mom passed, I knew exactly where to go because it was a small East Texas town, one big funeral home, although I think there are some others there, but I knew where she was going to be buried because my grandfather bought plots back in 1952 or whatever for him, my grandmother, and all the children, right? And it was funny because I was sitting with the funeral director and he showed me what my grandfather paid, and I'm like, oh, that was a deal.
Bag of potatoes?
Yeah, it was like, I don't know, $80 or something for a plot, which is, absolutely crazy. But, fortunately for me, my grandfather had thought about all of that stuff. It was nothing that I ever did. And then when my dad passed 6 months later, and my dad wasn't a practicing Muslim, and I don't even remember how we got there, but we had to have a Muslim service, which I'd never gone through. I don't know if you do Muslim services and stuff, or
have not been involved in many. There is a large Muslim community just to the south of us, and there's a funeral home near them that tends to handle a majority of their service.
We weren't prepared for that. My brother and I especially, but my sister actually reached out and made contact with the imam and had all of that stuff. I got pissed off because he refused to shake her hand when we introduced ourselves to him, but that's another point. But, you know, we're going through the service, and my brother and I had no idea what to expect because neither of us are practicing Muslims, and we'd never gone through this. And, you know, we're put into a big room with a bunch of men. All the women are in another room with the door shut. And neither one of us, my brother or I, don't understand what's going on. And they're doing all of these services. And then someone looks at me and says something. And I'm like, I don't know. My cousin said, "You and your brother, you need to pick up your dad and turn him over." And I'm like, "What?" And my brother looked at me and was like, "What?" And they started arguing with us, like, you need to pick him up and turn him over on his right side. I mean, it's something we didn't know anything about, you know? So we kind of, like, I don't know, we were in a bit of a state of shock through the whole process and stuff. But, you know, those are things you need to think about when you make decisions, you know, is what are your kids going to have? They're going to have to pick you up and turn you over in the casket? I don't, you know,
And that's
think that
right.
stuff through.
I deal with a lot of different faiths and a lot of different backgrounds, and there are different cultural differences.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes you have to be aware, and we run across things. There's a large Catholic community in my area.
Oh, and just to touch on that, I haven't been to too many Catholic services. Most of the services I go to are at the funeral home. You lose 3 pounds easy at a Catholic service because you're standing and sitting and standing and sitting and standing and sitting,
Kneeling and
shaking
standing and
people's
sitting.
hands and hugging people and shit. It's a lot.
Yeah. But
just
you
wanna
can
sit.
always tell the family members that are not practicing because they don't know when they're supposed to stand, when they're supposed to
Right.
sit. And
It was a long service.
we've got a priest that he's great. He's like ordering a pizza, 30 minutes or less. I don't look forward to the day he retires.
Or I shouldn't say practicing, as somebody who grew up Catholic, I would say that's probably, and who has been involved in multiple services, planning of services for grandparents and other loved ones. Being a part of a Catholic service it's already so laid out for you. There's just only so much that you can really personalize it to a person. And so that's very frustrating. Oh, hello.
It's my personal attendant.
It's very frustrating when you are trying to say goodbye to a loved one and you're held within a very specific restriction. And I've had to deal with that multiple times. Yeah. But we do stand up, sit down, fight.
Well, all right.
Do that again. What was that?
Stand up, sit down, fight. That's me making fun of my own religion.
Bring it back to another kind of funny story, Dave, along the lines of what you were talking about, you know, with your flag. You know, an honorably discharged veteran is entitled to a number of things upon their death. But, you know, the simplest of that is a flag and a VA marker, if applicable, at whatever cemetery they may be at. And so, you know, having a military service to honor that veteran is something that happens quite often. In my area, there's a couple different ways that can be accomplished. We can have an active duty detail. That active duty detail is typically a 2 or 3 person detail, folding, presenting the flag, playing taps. They're not doing the firing squad. And here that typically falls upon one of the service groups, you know, the VFW, the American Legion. Years ago, I was not on the service, but it was one of our services. At the cemetery, you know, the minister has completed his committal service. Things have been turned over to the honor guard. You know, those service organizations are many times elder gentlemen, because they're the ones that are retired and are not doing anything at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning, you know, paying tribute and honor to their brethren.
Brother.
Service starts. They do the first rifle volley. And there is this thud right next to the tent where this committal service is taking place. And everyone looks over, and about that time, this squirrel jumps up and takes off. He was in the tree.
Scared the shit out of him.
Yes.
I thought maybe they shot the squirrel.
That's
The
hilarious.
squirrel thought he was shot. But
I
fortunately, it's
actually
blanks.
thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna tell me that one of the guys shooting because they're older passed away at the funeral.
No. Haven't had that happen, fortunately. I've not had a death at a funeral.
You know, you bring that up, and you're right. I mean, you know, every service member I feel deserves that.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I think it was like 11 or 12 years ago, a buddy of mine, Army buddy of mine down in Louisville passed away. And I flew in for the funeral. 2 others that served with him flew in. And, you know, I was talking to his mom and his sister, and they were telling me that the VFW couldn't send a detail. The VA couldn't help them. The American Legion didn't have anybody available, and he was going to be buried without that process, you know. So I talked to my other 2 buddies, and I said, you know, we can't let this happen. I mean, let's do this. You know, I'll lead the detail. You guys help. And then I was the one that presented the flag to his mother at the end. And I mean, for me, that was the most meaningful thing I've ever been a part of. But the family, I mean, all the calls and the emails and everything I got from the family over how much that meant to them to be able to experience that, you know, was just, it blew me away. But, you know, every veteran should have proper service for sure.
The public service announcement there is keep your DD-214 in a safe place so that your family can have that.
This is
if
true.
you don't have that, you can't get those other things.
Yep.
That's the key important thing there is.
That's true. So today they do a really good job of record keeping, but my generation and older, you know, I mean, my father-in-law is buried in Arlington, and there's a whole different level of process that you have to go through and data that you have to provide and documentation and everything for that.
And currently it's a 6-month to a year wait to do a burial.
Yeah, we cremated him, and I think it was 9 or 10 months, maybe a year later, is when we actually had the service at Arlington. Crazy.
Okay. So we're gonna do a little bit of Halloween shit here to wrap the episode up. We're gonna do a couple round tables here. Favorite Halloween candy? Mark, start us off.
Oh, you can't go wrong with Reese Cups.
Okay. Andy.
Reese's Pieces, probably.
Reese's Pieces. Okay, Dave.
Almond Joy.
Oh. Out of left
Some
field.
like nuts.
Because they got nuts.
It's got nuts. Ryan, I'm gonna get.
Shit. Now
He got
I've heard
frozen
again.
with his thumb up.
I'm gonna guess Ryan is a Snickers bar and he eats it upside down so he can have the veiny textures touch his tongue.
How did you know? How did you know? The Reese's pumpkin actually for Halloween. You know they make them in all the different side, you know, different things. So the Reese's pumpkins. Yep.
Yeah, I'm a Reese's guy too. They're great. I love
Yep.
them. Yeah, did they do another shape here recently? Was it like bats or something like that, or has it always just been pumpkins?
I think I've never seen the bats. We've just seen the pumpkins.
They do
I mean, you get
Christmas
the pumpkins,
ones.
the Christmas
Yeah.
trees.
They do
Then
Easter
they have
eggs.
the hearts at Valentine's and
Yeah.
the Easter eggs. Yeah.
Okay.
The
They did
Easter
the medals
eggs-
this year.
Well, didn't they do? No, they,
They
did.
did what? They did medals.
Yeah.
One
like
year they
the-
did green,
a
where there was
ribbon
like
medal.
Huh.
Oh, for the Olympics, is that what they did?
I guess.
Okay.
one year they did
Okay.
some green on the Reese's chocolate. That's weird.
Did they? I
Yeah.
don't
So
remember that.
how do you eat your Reese's? Because I like to nibble
Put it in the
around the
freezer.
edges.
Yes.
So I like to nibble all around
Frozen.
the edges, and then I like to lick the top off, lick the bottom off, and then just eat the peanut butter by
It's a
itself.
lot of work.
That is a lot of action that you just talked about to eat a Reese's. I mean, that was like That's a whole episode on its own.
Are you
right
guys
there,
still
Andy.
talking about fucking Reese's Pieces? Because
She
I
no,
mean,
she
I've
just
noticed
talks about
it
how
left
she eats a
and-
Reese's peanut butter cup, and it just was it was a lot of action.
All right,
Just a
I got
lot
to listen
of,
to that in the edit.
a
My,
lot of
it's a
process.
process.
apparently, Riverside doesn't like the thumbs up.
No,
so,
it's your Apple. They don't like your expression.
is that
Dave.
what it is?
Yeah, they don't
got
like your
something against
expressions.
pimps, bro.
We have something against pimps. You wear that too well, Dave. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
What can I say?
I feel like you just
That
went
is
and got that
passable
shit out of
floating
your
money, too.
closet. That's what I think. I don't even think that's a costume.
Well, you don't know that I didn't, do
Retirement's
you?
looking good on you, Dave.
Yo.
Side hustle.
Oh,
When did
shit.
you put that fucking thumb
God
up
damn
again?
it.
this
He's
guy,
gotta stop with the thumbs.
yeah, he's a
You
thumbs
need,
up
you need
guy.
Andy's
and he gets-
mitts.
He gets
You need to
freeze.
sit on that thumb, Dave.
Well, I may be sitting on the thumb when I edit this if it fucked up the recording. So,
Are
Yeah,
you,
you did.
Pimp or Tiger King?
yeah. God damn it.
What's your next Halloween thing, Dustin?
Okay, I'm going to name 3 pop horror icons, and you got to tell me what bike you think they should ride.
Horror or horror?
Yes.
Okay.
Horror. I think he said horror, but it sounds a lot like horror.
Yeah.
And I'll name the easy ones because there's some new ones that have been introduced over the years that I won't trouble you with because you may not know who they are. So I'm going to name 3. I'm going to start with Freddy Krueger. Oh, raise your hands. Who you got, Mark? What do you think he should be?
Oh, he needs to be rocking a sketchy chopper.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Rusty
just
as shit.
Rusty and crusty and sharp, hard edges.
Boiler room parts for the
Yes.
exhaust. Yep.
Yeah.
Like it. Anybody else?
No, I agree. I think that's a good. I
No,
think that's a good
one.
assessment for Freddy Krueger. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just
Okay,
give
you're
these.
gonna copy my
Let's just give
homework.
these all to Mark because I think we're just going to agree with everything he says.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2, Ghostface from Scream.
Ooh. A crotch motorcycle.
He's got to
Yeah.
get away quick because he comes
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
goes real
He,
fast.
he should be riding like a CBR, like a blacked up CBR, 1000 double R, just
Yes.
completely murdered out black. The whole thing black.
So you can't see him.
Yeah.
Or a Hayabusa.
Yeah, high.
Big,
they're-
long stretch.
Except they're always red. You know what I mean? Like it's like a Ducati or something like that. They're always red. I think you need a black bike. That's why I said that the CBR 1000 double R.
Okay, last one. Michael
Which guy?
Myers.
Michael Myers. Ooh.
I knew
He
this
needs
would be the
something
toughest
industrial,
one.
like he needs something industrial, like
Fat
Chad's
Bob.
Fat Bob.
Fat Bob.
Yeah, like Chad's Fat Bob, just like something very Mad Max, you know? Oh, like you know what he needs? He needs the Mad Max KZ 1000. That KZ 1000 that Mad Max rode from the original one or whatever. That's what he needs. That KZ 1000 that's just kind of Mad Maxed out. That's what he needs.
All right, cool. I'll have to check that out. It's been a while since I've seen the movies. Very good. Well, Mark, it's good to see you again.
Always.
See everybody.
Even better to have you on here. Thanks for letting us into some of what you do on your day-to-day. It's not every day people get to speak to a mortician, but on Halloween, it's been enlightening, and it's been a treat.
Thanks for having me on.
And don't be a stranger at FDBM next year.
You hinted today about, where. I'm waiting to find out
Who did this?
in today's release.
Oh, in today's release. Okay.
Yes.
I thought maybe something got leaked on
No.
Discord.
No. You referenced in today's episode that came out about your tour pack
Mm-hmm.
and the potential need. So,
Well, I'm just going to
I'm
say
waiting for
this.
the-
It's not further than Sturgis.
For Dustin.
For
For
Dustin.
me.
Okay.
Ryan, yes.
For me, yes.
Definitely.
Yep. For Andy, even
I've
further.
been wanting one for like 2 years, though. So maybe that'll happen. Bike's paid off now, so I might be able to afford it. All right, Pimp. Take us out.
Should I lift my thumb?
No thumbs up. No.
Jesus Christ! If we see a hand, Dave.
If it's brown, if your thumb's brown, no.
Oh, he fucking froze it. He froze it again.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
I forgot part of my costume. It's been sitting here the whole time. I didn't freeze, did I?
Oh,
You did. You froze
did.
like you were.
Cane.
Am I still? No, so you can
No,
see
you're
the
not
cane.
frozen anymore, but you
Yeah.
did freeze in that pose.
Yeah, well, what can I say?
Pimping ain't easy.
It ain't, man. Pimping's a hard life, bro. You got to deal with all those hoes want their money. I don't know what's going on.
Got to deal with just the bitches and the hoes.
I'm serious.
bitches and the
I'm
hoes.
serious. It's just like they want like health benefits and shit. I mean,
Make it rain,
the fuck
bitch.
over.
They're all unionizing.
No, you
I know. The hoes be unionizing. Man.
They want that Red Roof Inn plus.
Yeah.
They need that
Oh,
plus
that's
plus.
what I should have called this. This is the Red Roof Inn costume.
You used to be able to just give them the Peter Sillin shot, and they would
That's
be on their
right.
way.
I'm going to wear this next
they're
time I
all-
check into
they
the
got
Red
their
Roof Inn.
guilds and shit. They're all unionized and organized.
Well, thanks for joining us for our special Halloween episode with our good friend Mark Moto.Mortician, not magician. Oh, before we go, I think the people on YouTube want a close up of your face, Andy, because something weird's been going on for the last hour with your face.
Yeah, it's been dissolving.
Do this.
It's dissolving.
Do you have a fava bean?
Give me some fava beans.
Yeah, it's been dissolving. I'm gonna have skin of glass after this.
Wow.
It's like a little porcelain doll.
Okay.
Gross.
I
Anyway,
think there's a horror movie about porcelain dolls, isn't there?
It's a movie called Dolls.
sure there's
Yeah.
a few.
Oh, see, there you go. I
Yeah.
don't watch that shit. They give me nightmares.
I was
Pretty
gonna
sure
ask
that's where
everybody's horror
Ryan's
movie.
costume came from.
Yeah.
My costume? Where did it come from?
You look like a porcelain doll. That's creepy as shit.
Like a very old ass porcelain dog. Look at that skin, dude. That's,
What everybody doesn't know is that what I intend on doing is
Truck Stop Confessions.
at next year's FDBM, I'm going to bring all of this getup, and then I'm going to pay the person at the front desk for somebody's room key, and I'm going to sneak in.
It's gonna be mine. I know it.
I'm going to sneak into somebody's room, and I'm going to crawl into the bed, and I'm going to take a bunch of pictures.
While they're sleeping. You fucker.
Well, we gotta make sure whoever it is, they're drunk, so you don't wake them up.
Greg.
No, because I'll be in that room.
All right, trick or treat. I got to get out of here and go find my platforms with the fish thing in the bottom on the sole.
All right,
I have
guys.
to go
Thanks for
I have
joining
to
us.
go massage my feet.
You need to do something with that face where it falls off.
Hey!
Drink it.
Something about that face.
Drink it.
Once again, it's a good thing I have no feelings.
A pimp for one day, and he's already talking smack.
I know, right?
No shit. I'm gonna smack him.
I know how to treat my women. Get that shit off your face.
All right, everybody.
Wipe that shit off your.
We'll talk to you next week. Until then, what you gonna do?
Keep it dirty.
Runs
Keep it
wild on
dirty.
you,
Gonna go clean
Oh.
my face.
brother.
Peace out, homies.
Bye.